Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome back. I hope we're all well. And today's video, what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about chaos and fear and how chaos and fear can actually be really beneficial for a healing journey. Um, so yeah, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I've been talking about it with a few people. So I've been coming up with a few little thoughts of my own, really, to do with it. And I've just been chatting with a client earlier on today about something as well that they've been experiencing. And so I was trying to explain and help them understand what is going on. So sometimes when we decide that we have something in life that we need to change, or there is something that we need to alter, or there is something that is keeps flagging us up, and we think, right, what is this? What is this that I need to be aware of in life that is kind of either slowing me down, or I just feel blocked, or I feel I need to just run away from everything and hide from it. And usually when things like that happen, there is an indication of an element of healing that is required in that area, whatever it may be in life. So it could be relationships, it could be family, it could be job, it could be your own sense of security, it could be your self-love, it could be the way that you look at yourself. There's so many different things in life that can affect us and that can make things come up from unexpected places at certain points in our life. And this is usually when things are showing themselves, or there is a pattern and they continue to show themselves. So until the element of healing has been worked through, then they're going to continue showing themselves. And some people that I have worked with in the past and currently do seem to go through stages of chaos, basically. Not so much chaos in life, but just feelings of chaos that they can't explain. They don't really know where it comes from, but there must be something in this chaos that is coming from somewhere, an element of themselves, and they're trying to understand and explain within themselves, or try to explain why they're feeling the way that they do within certain situations whenever these things do come awry and rise up from the depths of their soul, their psyche, whatever it may be. I've got a cup of tea. I hope you have one as well, to join me on this discussion today. So what I've found, I'm going to use myself as well as an example in some of these scenarios. But what I've found with Reiki and the meditation is they do bring things up and make you question a lot of stuff. They do bring things up where you think, well, I wasn't experiencing this before. Why is it coming up now, since I've began some level of healing, whatever it may be, whatever practice you've decided to go with, whether it's hypnosis or Reiki or meditation or whatever it is. And things do fire up, things do become chaotic within. So I've been trying to explain this to a few people recently, so I thought I had to make a video about it and I had to talk about it. And I used an analogy and a description of what is happening during these stages of healing. So to begin with, when we start to tap into these various things that we need to heal or we need to look at within ourselves, I kind of described, the way I was describing it to people was as kind of a fire. So you think of a big bonfire, and it's burning away, and there's all these plumes of smoke that are coming off it. And you're chucking stuff on this fire that you don't want anymore. So there might be a smelly old sofa, there might be a bit of furniture, you're just chucking it on the fire. And when you chuck it on, all the smoke, all the sparks, all the flames go whoosh and like create some sort of, there's a distortion that's been created within the fire. You are the fire. So think of yourself as that fire. So every time that you throw something on there, so whatever the issue is, whenever you throw it onto this fire, because you've brought your awareness to this issue, it's going to go woof, and it's going to bring a lot of stuff up to the surface that you now, before you weren't aware of. And you may just be consciously aware of one problem, which could be, I don't know, it could be backache, it could be a backache, and you just have this constant pain in your back. You don't know where it's come from. So you think, right, okay, I've tried all the traditional routes, I've tried medication, I've tried painkillers, that just covers it up and doesn't actually deal with the problem. So I need to get to the bottom of this, and I want to find out what it is. They can't find anything physically wrong with me, so there must be something else going on. So then you go and seek what is classed as an alternative practitioner or health service, and they will look at the energy of you. They will tap into you. They will feel your energy. They'll be aware of your energy, and they might be aware of things within you that are going on that you have no knowledge of or have no real kind of understanding of. So you'll go through a healing session, and what is happening within this healing session. So when you find yourself that relaxed place, you might close your eyes, put some calm music on, light some incense, just find that sacred space that you need to be in. And what is happening subconsciously, and this is another thing that I like to describe, is just think of your brain or your mind, your spirit, every essence of you. Think of it as a hard drive on a computer. And every week, every month, whatever, you go to defrag your hard drive to clear out all the crap that you don't need and put everything back in order. And that is exactly what's happening to you during these healing sessions, during meditation, during Reiki, contact or distance, whatever it may be. It's putting all these little files back into order. So then it's exposing, it's pulling out the files that you don't need, the files that are creating clutter. And that's what's happening in your mind. That's what's happening with your mind, body, and spirit. Every element of you, it's bringing all this stuff up to the forefront, like in the fire, like in that analogy, throwing things up, and it's bringing things up, and it's bringing things out to be exposed and to be revealed and released. So that is what's happening, and that is why usually, not always, but usually in early stages of healing or early healing practices, whether it's self-healing and you're just wanting to learn something, you want to go into a practice of some sort, you start to work on yourself first before you can work on other people, because you need to get yourself into a balanced, harmonious state, so that if you're going to help people, you're not kind of like a gibbering wreck, you're biting your nails or whatever, so you need to be in this grounded, calm, comfortable place. You need to be comfortable within yourself. You need to be comfortable in your heart. You need to be comfortable in every area of you, so that you can empathically and sensitively connect to these people, whether it's in person, whether it's online via Zoom, like I tend to do. Then it really doesn't make a difference, because there is no time and space between energy. Whether you're on a webcam on the other side of the world speaking to me and I'm here, or whether we're in person, it makes not a jot of difference, because we're all energy and we're all connected on that level. So we can interplay with that energy, and we can work through it, and we can talk through it, and we can find elements within that that we can look at. So that is the chaos. The chaos is kind of like, it's the fire within you. It really is. You think of yourself as that fire. And fire is extremely dynamic, life-changing, altering, and it brings forward new growth as well. As we see in nature, when you have bushfires, people just see the devastation. But what is actually happening? These bushfires need to happen to refertilize the ground for new growth to come through. You're exactly the same. You are exactly the same. And that's what's happening with you. So think of yourself as this fire. The chaos is a really, really good sign that things are working. Don't be afraid. This is where the fear starts to kick in. Okay, so this is where the chaos and the fear work kind of side by side, because now that the fear starts to kick in, you think, well, this wasn't happening before. I wasn't thinking these things before. Why all of a sudden am I thinking about it? And it brings an element of doubt. It brings an element of fear. And the reason why the fear comes up is because your ego is being exposed. Your ego, there may be entity, there may be attachments, there may be blocks within your energy, within your aura, within your energy system. There may be self-limiting beliefs. It may be pain body. It may be shadow work that needs to be exposed. There's numerous things that can be exposed, and the ego and the entities, or whatever they may be, that may be hidden behind the ego, that feed the ego, that make you think, no, this is really, really scary. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't go that way. In actual fact, you should be doing the opposite and actually doing that head on and going with it, because the fear, we're all conditioned and programmed to be fearful of anything that we're not used to, anything that makes us feel doubtful or questions it or questions ourselves. And yes, there's times to be fearful when the lion is chasing us, when the shark is swimming after us. These are when we're at a really high building and there's a chance we might fall off. Then yeah, these are times when we can be fearful, and this is where we use our brain, our analytical mind, to be aware of these fears, of these doubts, or whatever may be going on. But when we start to tune into ourselves and we find spaciousness and awareness within ourselves, within our heart, within our energy, then we then start to tap into something else, something much deeper. So what is this thing that's deeper? This thing that is deeper is it's what you are. It's your essence, it's your spirit, it's your soul, it's your divine consciousness, it's your Christ consciousness, it's your Buddha nature, whatever you want to call it. It's, it's this collective consciousness. There's so many different names for it across the whole spectrum of all realities and all religions and all beliefs. We all have it, and we all have that essence within us. And when we connect to that essence that is within us, we find this light, we find this little spark of awareness, of spaciousness. And as we start to expand and enhance this spaciousness, a lot of this stuff that is within us is going to be found, it's going to be discovered. And again, it brings up more fear. So it's bringing in line the ego, the mind, the heart space, and the soul. So the ego is your physical body. The ego is your mind. The ego is we all have an ego, and we all need an ego, but it's having the balance between the mind, the body, and spirit with the ego, and tuning into that true essence of us. So the fear gets drummed up by the ego, to basically tell us not to do that, not to go there, not to try that, finish that, you shouldn't be doing that, you're not good enough, you're not worthy. This is all the mind chatter, and it's part of the ego. And so using myself as an example, so I'm going, like 20 years ago, I was, I had very little respect for myself, of who I was. I was I was underweight, really, for my age, for my height, because I had this kind of obsession with my weight. I was overweight as a child, so that kind of stayed with me for quite a long time, until I came to terms with it. And now I'm just like, well, I am who I am. My body is what I am. It's my temple for my soul, for my spirit. And so back then I had all these limiting beliefs and self-doubts, because I thought, even though I was like underweight, I thought I was too fat. I couldn't achieve that. I wouldn't be able to do that. And so I drank heavily, I smoked heavily. I went out and did all the usual things at that age, because if I mingled with those people, I didn't need to look at myself. I didn't need to um, be self-aware of what I was doing to myself, and what was happening to myself. I was always pretty poorly. I always had colds. I always had flus. I always had some sort of viral infection going on. So I wasn't overly healthy. I very rarely had full cupboards of food. Most of my meals was usually like porridge, or stuff that would keep in the cupboard for a long time. So maybe like pasta with some sauces or whatever. And so yeah, so even my diet wasn't great either. So combination of not really eating very well, drinking heavily, smoking heavily, having too much on the go really for me to balance everything as well as my wellness into life. And that's kind of like when my mental health started to go on the decline, because it was just frenetic overthinking, and just constantly go, 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 and no stop. So basically, the mental health issue and the people that put me on that path, or assisted towards that, um, I'm kind of like grateful for them now, because they they pushed me onto what I needed to be pushed onto, and the universe, spirit, God, source, whatever you want to call it, basically made me become alone. And I was on my own for 5 years plus, really, where I had to have that time to become self-aware. I had to find out what was going on. And luckily, I started to discover meditation, and the meditation kind of like just opened me up to become so much more self-aware of me, of who I was. But again, that brought up some chaos. It brought up a lot of questioning. It made me look at myself in different aspects. It made me see myself as who I actually was and what I was doing to myself, and making me think, what have you done? Why have you become this way? But I was at the point where I could see myself and able to turn this around and switch that perception of who I truly was into who I wanted to be and who I wanted to become. And you have the key to all of this. We all have this key to all of this, to be able to just switch that, because of the programming and the fear and the manipulation and the lifestyles and the way that people think that we need to live, and that's how we need to live our lives, and live this fast-paced go 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 lifestyle with very little you time and very little peace and stillness within your life. If you don't have that stillness and peace, you won't be able to become self-aware. And basically the planet, the system doesn't want you to be self-aware, because if you do become self-aware, then you become less reliant on the system, because you start to step away from it. You see that it's toxic, it's evil, it's dark, and it isn't working for your highest good. So and also that element of chaos that is within the system, and that element of fear that is within the system, we can see it and we can be aware of it, but we separate ourselves from it, but we can see it and we're aware of it, and that is the most important thing. And whether you want to live within the constraints of that or not is entirely up to the individual. But that element of fear and chaos that's within that as well, there's no need to be afraid of it. There's no need to be scared of it, because you are not you are sovereign. You're not being controlled by that. And that's exactly the same with other aspects of your life, that if you want to start a healing journey, we need to start going through these elements of chaos, basically. and the elements of fear that will rise up from within. And basically taking that stance within yourself, and starting to be more, once you are starting to tune in and be more self-aware, you start listening to the dark thoughts, the self-limiting beliefs, the expressions you give yourself. I'm such a fool. I'm so thick. I'm so fat. I'm so ugly. You use all these words on yourself, and they are such, it's a such negative vibrational state of being, because if you continue to program yourself in these vibrational words, so it's called spelling for a reason, because you are putting a spell on yourself or on other people. But if you're saying that I am this and I am that, then you are creating that very thought pattern that is making you to be that. It's the same as manifestation. I am, and I am is that connection to your essence, to your soul, your spark, and that's what feeds this essence. So then when you start to twist that around, and you use different words, you express yourself differently, you put your hand on your heart, which you can do now, and you can join me, and you can put your right hand on your heart, and just say to yourself that I am worthy, I am living my best life, and I am strong, I am powerful, I am confident, I am protected, I am safe. And you can use them words. You can use as many words as you want, as long as they're positive, strong words. And a lot of people like kind of speak negatively about affirmations, but affirmations are extremely powerful. They're extremely powerful words to use. And again, it's all about the spelling. It's all about the words. So come away from the negativity, from the negative words, and look at the positive words. And even if negative things happen, look at the positivity of that negativity. So if something goes wrong, instead of saying, oh, I'm so stupid for doing that, say, okay, so I now realize that that was wrong, but now I know not to do that, and I will do this instead. And you've learned a lesson on the way. So you've learned that two paths, one of them is going to be the wrong decision, one of them is going to be the right decision. We're not always going to make right decisions. Then that's not what life is about. Life is about learning. So really, the more bad decisions you make, the wiser you are going to become further down the line. And I've made a lot of bad decisions, a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of negative self-belief. But just that little switch over time. And so I'm not talking like that this process is going to happen overnight. It isn't. Any form of healing will not happen overnight. The medical industry will cover things up, and they will suppress things and take away the symptoms, but they won't actually deal with what is going on underneath that. And the actual essence of where it's coming from. And sometimes where these things are coming from within, you can sit with that and you can feel it, and you can feel whereabouts in your body it may be. So if you have this self-limiting belief, just sit with it and be aware of where it is in your body. Is it in your stomach? Is it in your solar plexus? Is it in your heart? Is it in your throat? Is it in your mind? Is it in your legs? It doesn't have to be in this area. It doesn't have to be in these emotional centers. It could be in the feet. You could have issues with the feet, and that's all to do with your grounding, your sense of stability, your security, anxiety, thoughts, issues. There's so much that can go on within the physical body that it's trying to tell us something that you need to tap into, that you need to be aware of. And once you start to become aware of it, and your awareness goes to those issues, and you create spaciousness because of that consciousness, it awakens something within. And that awakening of something within creates chaos. It's exactly the same as a spiritual awakening. When you go through a spiritual awakening, it's very rarely peaceful. It's very rarely harmonious. It's very rarely a happy experience. It can be, but not always. A lot of the time, it's fucking scary stuff. and you have no idea what is connecting to you, what is speaking to you, what is trying to put the heebie-jeebies up you, what you might be hearing, what you might be seeing or experiencing. You might feel like you're close to dying, or a lot of people that I know of have been through some really, really horrific spiritual experience, awakening experiences, and mine wasn't like a walk in the park either. Mine was pretty tough. I had to go through a lot of shit to be at a stage where the universe just left me alone to just sit still, silence, be alone, find sadness, find that happiness, find that deep reason within why you don't want to be alone. And the reason why you don't want to be alone is like for me is because I didn't want to look at that. I didn't want to look at the person within. And that truly is where the fear and the chaos come from, because we need to experience them sometimes, usually early on in your healing journey. So I hope this gives you a little bit of food for thought for how chaos and fear can erupt during healing journeys, during your transitional stages of moving through the various frequencies of your healing journey. That being said, if it doesn't sound too scary, I'm going to link all my socials below. You can follow me on them. I'll also link my website below if you're interested in any Reiki, any meditation, maybe any readings that you want me to do. Some to use tarot and oracle cards and intuitive feelings, intuitive messages. If you're interested in any of that, I have packages, I have plans available, and they're all in my website, which I will link below. So I hope this video has been informative. I hope it's given you some food for thought moving forward. Maybe you've started a healing journey and you're wondering why all this stuff is starting to erupt and show. You're on the right track. Keep going. Keep going with it. You are on the right journey. You're on the right track. So if you have any questions for me as well, I'll also link my email address below, or you can comment on this video below as well. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're going through. If you have any questions, then again, comment below. Let me know, or you can email me in private or message me via the website if you have any questions whatsoever. I'm always happy to try and help if I can. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a nice big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel to keep yourselves updated with any content in the future. And until the next video, much love to you all. Take care of yourselves. Namaste and bye for now.